Hello Capricorn friends, welcome to my February 2020 horoscope report for you. This month is the beginning of the wall of personal planet retrogrades, where the focus that was very much outward, very much weaving your web and doing all of this work, is now shifting to more of an inward and backward tilt. And that's going to be true for the rest of 2020. Some eclipse residual drama and life-changing pieces of information and events are likely still dribbling in. This was a particularly potent series of eclipses for Capricorn because we're still working with the Capricorn Cancer polarity, and this doesn't end until the summer. So you might have seen some things that seem like final chapters coming in, but the true final chapters still are coming mid-year. So there might be integration of the things that have happened. There might be something that's pending that won't come through until then. So this month you might find that there's news moving along the continuum of the information that came in, and for a very small amount of you, maybe you might get your big news at this time if it didn't come in. There are some people, depending on how it's exactly hitting in your chart, you may be holding space for other people that are going through big changes instead of having the changes yourself. So we've got a wonderful month with more than double the sweet aspects than the challenging ones. One of the first things I look at when I'm trying to see what a month is going to be like is how many sweet aspects are there? How many salty aspects are there? What's the ratio there? That sets the tone for the month. And so we've got this energy of backward things from the past coming in, and we have this energy of super sweetness with just a couple of little road bumps. And when you combine those, the chance for sweetness from the past is much accentuated. So work that you've already done, contacts from the past, ideas from the past, finding something of value in your attic, anything where it's something that's already in process and it comes to you. So there's a huge focus this month on your finances. This is coming from different placements for different of you in the Capricorn spectrum, but it's still there for all of you. Okay, so the second house is aspected. That's the house of money. It's the house of income. It's the house of budgeting and earning. And when you have a boost there, sometimes it can come in the form of that area of your life needing attention. Sometimes it can come in the form of a boost of just money coming in. And for those of you who are December born, you might have already seen this in January, because that's when Venus, the bringer of, my grandma Marge, who brings the kisses and the meatballs and the money and the love, that Venus energy was in your financial sector for you December born, or 0 to 9 degrees or 10 degrees or so if you're watching for your moon or rising. But for the rest of you, so the January born Caps, you're having Venus move into that sector for you now. So the chances for boosts of income are increased. Sometimes I'll have somebody say, you said money was coming and it didn't come. Either A, you're wrong, or B, astrology's wrong, or whatever it is. When we talk about astrological transits, these are potentials that can happen. They're not definites, and they can manifest differently for different people. It's really important to keep that in mind, because you can't bank everything for better or worse on a potential. It's kind of like bringing an umbrella on a day that was supposed to be rainy, turns out to not rain. If you knew ahead of time a potential and you brought your umbrella, at least you were prepared. But if it rained and you didn't bring it, then you weren't prepared. You see what I'm talking about? So with these reports, I try to prepare you for the things that are coming for better or worse, but it's no guarantee that it will happen. Our vibrational matching is a huge piece of how we experience transits. So if there's money in your chart saying, hey, money wants to come, and you have a storyline of, I have to work hard, I don't make enough money, I'm always, struggling to make ends meet, then that storyline can bounce off the things that are potentials in the stars. So inner accountability, individual accountability will help you make the most of transits as they come. Okay, so something else that's really exciting is that Mars is going to be moving into your sign. This is Mars joining the Capricorn party. We've got, a lot of outer planets in Capricorn, and sometimes when those outer planets are there, it can be a little bit heavier, but at the same time, there can be very lasting, long-term progress from the work or the challenges that come. Mars is going to come now, and in some ways, this is really exciting because when a planet moves through your sign, it's at least speaking your language and you understand it. So Mars is how we use our energy. So you'll be able to get more focused, more streamlined with your efforts. And as Mars hits your Capricorn placement or placements, it can bring boosts of productivity or things working in your favor. Sometimes it can bring conflicts or arguments as well. So just kind of look out for those. And try to stay out of the ego energy of it, and just use it for trying to reach a productive end. You may notice that we always talk about these archetypal energies, and that almost all, except the Moon and Venus, of the archetypal energies are male archetypes. Well, the star goddesses, the females of the zodiac, have been whispering to me to begin finally sharing some things with you. So you will notice sprinkling in over time that the ladies will have a voice. And one of those ladies that wants to speak is Juno. Juno is a star goddess, and she is a goddess of relationships. And right now she's moving through the sign of relationships. So for everyone in the zodiac, enriching our relationships, working on relationships, is really key. Okay, so that's a message over the period of time that Juno is in that sign of saying, hey, you can find more enrichment, more answers to your questions, more answers to your problems, more solutions when you partner up with people. You may have to do some work on the relationships themselves, but that's par for the course. So for you who are early born, so basically the December born Caps, she is starting to influence your, has been influencing your work sector. So this means that that special energy of partnering has extra blessings when you think about it regarding your work. Collaborating, getting helpers, people to support you with what you're trying to do, teaming up with people at work for a common goal, anything like that. And that message is going to be getting stronger for those of you who are January born Caps, or, like 10 through 29 degrees, if you're watching for your moon or rising. That message is going to be coming to you more in the upcoming months. But for the rest of you now, the January babies, this is more talking about the spirit of adventure and broadening your horizons. So what Juno wants you to know at this time is that looking at something from a different perspective, broadening your view, having an adventure, taking calculated risks, seeing the bigger picture is not only going to help your relationships, but is going to help you with every area of your life. And this is something that's whispering over here. Where she is in your chart is completely different than where all those heavy hitter male archetypal energies are doing their work in Capricorn, hitting all your placements. She's over here whispering in a completely different area, saying, yes, you're having a hard time, ask for help. Yes, you're having a hard time, delegate. I see that things are heavy for you, so let's soften that a little bit by empowering other people with what you know and making that help you. And also it's coming through this energy of spiritualizing your viewpoint. The energy of the 9th house, which is where Juno is for the January Caps and those between 10 and 29 degrees, is the house of Sagittarius. So she's not in the sign of Sagittarius, she's in the house of Sagittarius for you. And that has to do with a spiritual approach towards things. So if you are reading at a deadlock with some relationships or something else in your life, adding spirituality to it, or taking a trip to go, just get out of the situation and kind of clear your mind. Anything that rules the energy of Sag like that is going to help you to find solutions within your relationship issues and within the problems that may be coming from the heaviness in the Capricorn sectors right now. Okay, so let's see what else we've got going on here. As the sun moves through Aquarius, which is going to be for most of February, it's speaking a language that is more in the mental plane, okay? And since this is a month of retrograde energy, where you've just had a bunch of action, brainstorming is a good idea for you this month. Writing things down. If you have to take some steps, then, do that. If you try to do it by, the first few days of February, that would be the best, especially for long-term things. But brainstorming and connecting with people in the mental way, like a mental rapport, can help to bring you insights that can give you the solutions that you're looking for. As the sun moves into Pisces, that's going to add, again, there's like this energy of softness that wants to come in, kind of like you've got these certain areas that are highlighted in your chart that are just like heavy work, pressing, you know, accomplishment, material things. And then you've got these other areas of the chart that are whispering, saying, take a break, do some art, you know, have some rest. And in general, I love this month for like a staycation or a vacation, even though some people falsely think you're not supposed to travel during Mercury retrograde. That's not true. Mercury rules travel, and lots of great travel comes up. You just have to check your plans, and plans are more likely to change. You might take a sudden trip, or a trip you planned might not work out. Those odds are increased this month. But if you feel compelled to get away and you feel compelled to take some quiet time, this is an amazing month for that, where you can integrate the things that you've just done and get things like on paper for how you're going to proceed. This month is a really great month for beta testing. So like if you weren't able to get your big launch out in January and you have to do some beta testing or kind of like trying out of a rolling out of something, this is a really great time for that too. Okay, so we've had Capricorn energies experiencing Uranus in the 4th house, which has to do with unsettling things in the home and family. This could be for better and worse. You could have, you know, shocking news that has gone on with relatives over the last couple of years. For those of you later in the sign, this could also still be happening, but it's not as strong as it's going to be in the years to come, because it takes a little bit longer to hit you all towards the end there, you know, especially we'll say like the last 10 days of the sign, or like 20 to 29 degrees. But you might be getting whispers of this, and the rest of you have definitely been seeing it in some way or another, okay? You know, surprising things with your family, sudden moves, sudden job changes that require a move, things going on, you know, with your real estate things are all coming up in a big way. And that energy is going to be there for a long time. One of the best ways to work with these outer planets that move through your chart in a certain area for a very extended period of time is to understand what they're asking of you. And when you understand that and you expect the things that they bring, then they become easier to deal with. So if you're asking the question, when am I going to be settled in one house? When am I going to get my home space settled? The answer is maybe not for a while. But if you can find your peace in not knowing and your peace with all the unruliness, then it doesn't matter, and that's part of what Uranus wants to teach you. When I had Uranus going through this section during one of the times in my experience, I moved like 15 times. And it was really unsettling to me because I like to own a home, I like to be in my home, I like to have settledness, I do like to travel, but I like to be settled in a home. And Uranus came through and just was like, no, you're not doing that. So I understood from going through that transit that I had to find my home within me, and you might have to find your home, like your home energy within you. And if you can do that, then you can start to enjoy the topsy-turvy changes that are happening instead of dread them, and instead of like hoping that they end, maybe start to look at the freedom that you have from the situation. You know, there's always a different way that you can view things. And we talked about this with the energy of Juno. This is also occurring with the energy of Uranus, where if you can just look at things a different way, then you can change the experience that you're having, even though it's the same experience. Okay, so Mercury is going to be doing its retrograde thing. And so that's going to be influencing for all of you in that financial sector as well. The December born, you're also going to have some of that, or for some of you, all of that energy in the 3rd house, which I'll talk about what that means in a second. When Mercury is retrograde in the 2nd house, it causes you to question things. It causes you to have things come from the past. So income from the past, like maybe a way that you used to make money could come back in. You could have something about like going back to an old budgeting system, or a way of working with your money, or a way of savings. how you used to do it in the past. Something from the past has value and you're questioning these things. You might be going through your history financially with a fine-tooth comb and saying, what worked, what didn't work, how can I get back on track, and getting a plan to get your fiscal situation better. Okay, so for the early degree placements, basically 0 to 9 degrees, or if you are a December born Cap, this energy of going back over things is in your 3rd house. Like I said, you might have the money part there too, but this 3rd house can have to do with questioning your car, you know, a mobility issue that may have come up from the past, either through a vehicle or through a physical mobility issue. Writing projects can come up for everyone in a big way during Mercury retrograde. This is one of my favorite things, being a writer and an author and, you know, blogger myself. I love the retrogrades for breathing life back into dusting off old projects, reworking them, taking from old material and making it new. So you might notice for all Caps, but especially for you December born, that there's a special focus on how you've expressed yourself in the past. Old artwork, you know, ways that you've communicated, ways that you've expressed yourself can come back in, and you may find great joy in those things and may move through a process of coming to completion with those projects. This can also bring relatives like siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles up in a major way. So you might find that you see your cousins or your relatives, or you have a visit, or you go see them, or you get back in contact. This could also mean that you find relatives that you didn't know you had. If you're on 23andMe, you might find that you have new genetic relatives all the time. So this could bring up pieces like that. So if you're needing a new car and it's still in January up to the first few days of February is a better time than the retrograde for trying to buy a new car. If you're leasing a car or it's a temporary kind of Segway car, you know, then that's more fine for the rest of February. But if you've got to get a new vehicle, try to do it in those first few days of February. Devices, technology, your relationship with technology, your relationship with social media, your friendships, all of those things, again, for all Caps, could be called into question. But there's a special concentration, like a double helping of this for you December born people. So you might see the energies of the retrograde manifest that way, like your phone's doing that thing again, or your phone finally went kaput. You know, again, if you have to get a new phone or a computer or something like that, I love the first week of February. It's so beautiful. We don't start to have our dicey planets until around February 8th. So like, and those might start influencing 5th, 6th, you might start feeling them, but like those first few days in February, anything big, important that you have to do, purchases you have to buy, and I'm talking to all Caps here, that would be the ideal time to do it. Okay, so overall, a really positive month. Hopefully will be less drama than the eclipse time, but again, you might see some news come in, but this could be a little bit of a lull in between the ruckus of the things that happen from the eclipse and the ruckus that's to come, you know, as we get into the spring, or I guess that would be fall for you down under. But the spring, summer for us in the Northern Hemisphere, and the opposite seasons for you down under, that's when those eclipses are going to start brewing again. So this is a little lull, a little quiet period, a little period to have some rest, to get some things done, to, you know, get some peace and get your thoughts together to kind of equip you to deal with how you're going to implement from what's happening or what happened, and how you're going to deal with the things that are coming. Okay, so definitely go to my website, AnnieHelpsYou.com, because on that website, you can sign up for my free email newsletter. You can get a written report with all of the dates of all of these sweet and salty aspects, what they are, and how you can expect them to manifest. I also do a written overview of the month. This February edition of my newsletter is a special edition because I have a retrograde bonus to help equip you for this long stretch of retrogrades. Go in deeper with those. If you'd like to be a professional astrologer or use astrology for yourself or in the backdrop or for your family and friends, go to beastropro.com, astropro.com. All these links I'm giving you are also underneath the video. And you can see my Become a Professional Astrologer program, formerly known as my Astrology Apprenticeship program. I have so much in this curriculum that will equip you to go from ground zero to professional astrologer. I tell you how all of the ins and outs of things that you would need to know, surprising things that you wouldn't even think of. So you can check that out there. You can also see my other offerings at AnnieHelpsYou.com, including when you sign up for my free email newsletter, you get access to my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine for free. Go to cozybysweetstarlight.com for written horoscopes written by me, and astrology for wellness blogs and healthy lifestyle blogs. And check out my new school, Luminous Life Multiversity, lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. When you enroll in my school, you can access all the free courses. I'm just getting warmed up now. We only have one free course there now, but in the coming months, a bunch of free courses are going to be available. And when you are enrolled in the school, you have access to them. So also remember my book, Radical Prayer, Transform Your Life and the World in 28 Days. It's a beautiful spiritual companion to help you step into the life of your dreams. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.